Let me show you while we're waiting. Oh, I think we're live. Okay. I was going to show you my loaf. Let's see if I don't burn myself.
Oh, excellent.
It's cooling, so okay. Here we go. 2. Are we there? Okay, let's see. Hello, thank you for joining us on Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle. I have a very special guest today. She is a nutritionist, dietitian, author of this fantastic book, which we will have her talk about. And she is also a member of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, which is an organization that I personally love very much. And she does a special program with Physicians Committee that I'll have her talk about. Please welcome my guest, Brooke Boussard, MD. Brooke, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me today, Lucia. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So we're going to make an exciting recipe, really delicious, totally up the Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle alley because it hits all the points, all the protein and the nutrients and the kind of decadence. It's really a substantial, delicious main course. So the reason why I wanted to have you on, Brooke, is not only in general, because we've been trying to get you on the show for a while now, but it's the holidays are coming up. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, it's coming up this week. And I know that vegans sometimes have a hard time. It's a challenge to find meals that are suitable for themselves and for, whomever they're spending the holidays with. And if people are hosting vegans, they find it challenging to find dishes that will make their vegan guests and loved ones feel included, and that will be substantial, a main course that people can even have this main course that we're making today and not have animals on their table, which I love. So let's start talking about your book first, Chew on This, and tell us what compelled you to write the book.
The book was years in the making. I think just from having a lot of conversations with my clients and classes that I teach, the way that I explain the body and the way that our body uses food, people just were really gravitating toward that and asking me, when are you going to write a book? And I thought, well, I don't know. I'm not an author. I never really thought about writing a book. And then a few years passed and, the conversation continued, and I just all of a sudden had an urge. And I joined a writing group, a local writing group, and it was so much fun. I got together with an instructor and 5 other people who were writing books, and everyone was writing a different style of book. And it was fascinating. We would meet every week and people would read chapters that they had worked on and get feedback. And my instructor, who then became my editor, she loved the topic so much. And literally every class, people had so many questions, not about my writing, but about food. And it was hard to keep the class on track because they were so interested in what I had to say about how food impacts our cells. And so that's how the book came about. That's how the writing process went. And it was just so much fun. I really enjoyed it.
Now, tell us about the program that you're doing. You do a very, let's say, well-followed program with the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine.
Yes, so we have a program called Food for Life, and we teach classes anywhere from a single one-off class to a 9-week series that could even spin out and go longer. And some are focused on just kickstarting your health using a plant-based diet. Some are focused on type 2 diabetes. Some are focused on heart disease. We've got classes now that focus on the GI system. We've had a program for a long time that looks at cancer and the effects of our food choices on cancer risk and prevention. So that's a huge piece of it. But and now we're even spinning off classes that are geared toward the holidays,
Mhm.
geared toward certain cultural foods like African American heritage and things like that. So it's really becoming it was already a very robust program, but it's even becoming more. And I think it's just, we have, quite a few Food for Life instructors now. I think we just graduated 50 more Food for Life instructors this year,
Wow.
and they can reach people all over the world.
Amazing. I love to hear it. I think it's been growing, not only veganism as an ethical stance, but plant-based eating has been growing a lot, right? In the past few years, people are realizing that, I always think I've had doctors on my TV show and here on Amazon Live, and I always refer back to it was Hippocrates, right? Let food be thy medicine, which I think people are discovering more and more, even if they're using conventional medicines and practice, they're at least supplementing, right, their conventional medicine with foods and nutrients, right?
And Lucia, when you say that, I actually had this thought earlier this morning while I was chopping up some of the herbs for today's demo. And you just mentioned supplementing with, these plant foods. And so often people buy supplements and they say, "Oh, I'm taking this herbal supplement."
Right.
And we should just be thinking, why aren't we eating the herbs themselves?
Exactly.
Right.
In
Right.
my background here, my little bouquet. This, my parents are rural Southern Italian. They grew up on beautiful farmland before they emigrated to New York. And my grandfather, I always get so emotional, my grandfather planted this Garden of Eden in the suburbs of New York where I grew up. And his garden is now tended by my uncle. And this is fresh oregano. Well, it's dried now, but it's fresh oregano picked from the garden. And this is how I was raised. So it really made my transition to veganism as a kid, vegetarian and then veganism as a kid, very easy because my diet was already mainly plant-based because of their rural upbringing. And I love returning to this now through the show and finding that, nutritionists and doctors like you are promoting this kind of the goods from our earth that are here, that are sprouting for our benefit, right?
Right. And in the book, I spend a lot of time talking about specific things like the macronutrients and the micronutrients, but I put a fun spin on it with these conversations. But chapter 9, I believe, is the chapter titled Cooking. And it's just there to help encourage people to get back to the kitchen, to get back to, making meals together, having fun with it, eating together. It's a family who goes to the beach and they meet up with, like a brother-in-law and his family. And so often people go on these trips and they just order food or
Mhm.
go out to dinner,
Mhm.
but they might be staying in a place that actually has a kitchen. So I would encourage people to go to the grocery store, just pick up some simple ingredients and
Mhm.
have fun together, just putting a meal together as a family and delegating tasks. And um, I think there's a lot of fun and camaraderie that can be built by making food together.
Yeah, and it's so good for every aspect. It's good for the brain activity, right? In so many different ways. It's good for the soul and the spirit, and then it's good for bonding. Like you mentioned, this is a story about a family. It's so good. It's such a good opportunity. What if someone has a family or whomever they're around to share these stories, imparting wisdom and experiences that really we need so much more of today. And also the great thing now too is we have these conveniences. We're here on Amazon. I was once during the pandemic. I'm also an actress and filmmaker. So during the pandemic, I was when the film and TV industry started to open up a bit. We were masked with the shields and taking all these precautions. I was sequestered in a hotel room for almost 2 months. And there wasn't a kitchen, but there was a little fridge. And I'll show people this later on. I packed this in my suitcase, and I ordered groceries from Whole Foods to be delivered to the hotel, right? They were left in front of the door, all safe. And I made, I think I brought a bowl with me. So I was making salads and salad dressings in my hotel room.
Wow.
They gave us a per diem, which is normal for for performers and crew. We were given a per diem, and I thought, okay, partially I ordered in from vegan restaurants in the area, and then partially I used my per diem to order from Amazon, Whole Foods, the ingredients that I needed, and there it was. I had fresh homemade meals in my hotel room, even without
That's such a good solution.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll tell one more story related to your story here, which I can't wait for viewers. If you're watching now, I pulled up, this is in the carousel now. So if you're watching, you can add this to your cart as we're talking, because we're soon going to get to this lush recipe that Dr. Bassard has created for us. But one story is that, as immigrants, we used to, in the summer months, my mother and my aunts used to wake up at dawn and prepare a day's worth of food, put it in one of those giant coolers. So we had breakfast, snacks, lunch, and dinner. We would pack up blankets, and we would spend the entire days at the beach from sunrise to sundown. And it was special and magical, and we laughed and told stories and swam and ran and had these delicious homemade meals. So, coming back to that, I love that you have the story in the book that's, kind of, it's so Lucia's vegan lifestyle. So
excellent.
I'm really excited for our viewers to be inspired by your book, and for every aspect of their living. So, all right, shall we get to this delicious? Should I give them a sneak peek? Because I made one of these, and it's cooling now, so you can tell them what it's called.
This is the lovable lentil loaf. You can just call it lentil loaf, but for Thanksgiving, I love to say lovable lentil loaf. And I love that Lucia made it in the loaf pan, because I'm going to show you some other versions as well, because it is extremely versatile what you can do with it. When you cook it, and I think, Lucia, you just pulled this out pretty recently, right?
Yeah, like just a few minutes ago. It's still hot on the bottom, so yeah.
Yeah, so you really need to let it cool, and ideally have it sit overnight, put it in the fridge and leave it overnight, because not only will the flavors meld together, but the loaf itself will hold together more firmly if it has time to really cool and sit. So a lot of times I make it a day ahead of time. I actually have a client who told me she makes it on Sunday and just has it for lunch all through the week. Every day, that's her lunch.
That's what I was thinking, because I made this. I was going to actually make this last night, but I didn't have time. But I thought, okay, I'll make one in advance so we can show at the beginning what it will look like, one version, and then I'll make it along with you. And I did this for the two, because I know you're doing it. I'll make it along with you. That way I have your expertise to show me how to really do it. And then selfishly, because I will be slicing this and doing the same.
Excellent.
As your client. And I wanted to ask you, before I forget, how long will this keep in the fridge, and can it be put in the freezer?
I would assume you could put it in the freezer. I freeze lentils all the time when I have leftover lentils. So I don't see any ingredients in this that wouldn't freeze and thaw well. So I've never frozen it, but I think it's definitely worth a try. I don't think it would be destroyed. It doesn't have any of those vegetables that hold water and end up with a strange consistency when they thaw.
All right.
Like the zucchinis and the
exactly.
tomatoes and things like that. Yeah.
I can't wait to show them the ingredients, because I was thinking, instead of being fully selfish, maybe I'm invited to my families on Thursday for Thanksgiving Day, and I thought maybe I will share it with them. So instead of making another one, which I don't mind because it's very easy to make this, so easy. So instead of making a third one, if I do, if it does last, if I don't eat them both between now
Yeah,
and
it will definitely last in the fridge all week.
great, perfect.
Yeah.
So people can make it today. They can get, I listed most of the ingredients are here in the carousel. So if you're watching now, I just want to say again, thank you for joining us on Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle with my guest, Brooke Boussard, MD, author of Chew on This, which is in the carousel. And if you are not, this is going out to the Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle Facebook, YouTube, Twitter or X, whatever you call it now. And we're on Amazon Live. So if you're not on Amazon Live, there should be a link there. Just come to amazon.com/live/Lucia Vegan Lifestyle and join us here, because you can engage in conversation, you can comment, and we can answer any questions you have. And you can also purchase the ingredients now. That way they'll arrive tomorrow or maybe latest Tuesday. So you can make this in advance and have it ready for the holiday. Or you can even make it Thursday morning, although it's probably better to make it Wednesday night, right? And then so that the flavors will meld and everything will be more fused by the meal time on Thursday, right?
Right.
So I just want to say that the lovely lentil, this recipe, you have at least three ingredients here that are major ingredients I can't wait for you to show us the versatility of this recipe. But already these are, let's say, vegan protein staples. You have,
Absolutely.
you want to start telling us the ingredients, and I guess we can get started with the recipe, and you can tell our guests all the nutritional values of everything as we go along.
Okay, so it starts with brown lentils, and you can use brown lentils or green lentils. You just want to make sure, or even black lentils, you just don't want to use red lentils. Red lentils have a different texture. When you cook them, they get sort of mushy, which is great in pasta sauces and curries. But for the loaf, you won't want it that consistency. Okay. So I started with some green lentils, and I used dried lentils usually. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if in the carousel you've got dry lentils or canned lentils.
You have dry, yeah. Can you use
dried? So you just take a cup of lentils and put them in 3 cups of water on the stove to cook them. And in about 18 to 20 minutes, they're soft enough and ready to eat or continue on with your recipe. So I did that ahead of time. And so I've just got them in my colander here. But I know it's good to mention that because so many Americans don't have experience with lentils at all.
Oh, I thought it was an American. Growing up with Italian parents, there are certain things that I consider American, and lentils is one of them. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Lucia, I have to tell you, there's so many people when I say lentil, they don't even know what to picture in their head.
Wow. So I'm excited that if viewers here haven't had experience with them, that they get to find them out through you being with us.
Yeah. So they're so easy to cook. It's hard to go wrong. Yeah. So once you've got them cooked, you're going to want 2 cups of them. Okay. And the rest you can either keep in the fridge or put in the freezer, like Lucia and I were just talking about. But you take 2 cups of them, and I'm just going to put them right in my food processor.
I also have a food processor here. I have a food processor. The one that I'm using is in the carousel. So if people don't have one, this is it's a very important tool to have in the kitchen, right? It's so versatile, and it really makes the cooking experience easier having a food processor, right?
Yeah, I think when we talk about appliances for the kitchen, you have to think of them as an investment. Yeah. And it doesn't take long to make up that investment,
right,
by making your own food rather than ordering out.
Exactly.
Like the ingredients that we're using are not expensive at all.
Right.
as
Right.
opposed to when you order food and you have to pay people for their time to prepare it, the time to deliver it. All of those things factor into the price.
Yeah.
So our appliances, they pay themselves off very quickly.
And today, the one that I pulled up, the one that I have is, I'll just mention right now, as of the time of this live stream, it's 12% off. So I know that, if people are wanting to, it's the holiday season, so it's a perfect time to purchase one as a personal investment and as a gift for someone. It's also not, I mean, I guess it depends on people's budgets, but it's really, like you said, it's a great investment. It's not thousands of dollars, right?
Right.
It's maybe the cost of a dinner.
Right.
If you're eating high end food, maybe it's the cost of a dinner for one person. If you're a family, it might be if you're a family that is maybe struggling with finances, it might be the price of a few dinners. But then, like you said, with these very inexpensive ingredients that have a lot of protein in them and nutrients and last a long time, then this will even pay for the few meals that people might otherwise be spending to in a fast food establishment or at a restaurant or ordering in.
Right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up some veggies and saute them.
Okay.
So we've got onion, mushrooms, and garlic that we want to saute.
Okay.
So a half a cup of onions, and I've chopped mine up already. And you don't have to worry about chopping them for the size that you want to eat them, because they're going to end up going in the food processor.
Okay. Right.
So, just chop them up enough that you can saute them. So a half a cup of those, 8 ounces of mushrooms that you want to chop up. And 8 ounces is the typical size of the small box of mushrooms that you would get at the grocery store. If you were to count them, I think I usually come up around 15 mushrooms of a white button mushroom or a cremini mushroom.
Okay. I bought the larger one, so there was about 6 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we've got the garlic. So some garlic, just mince it up, either 2 cloves of garlic, or if you buy a jar of garlic,
Mhm.
a clove is half a teaspoon. So that would be 1 teaspoon that we would put in our pan to saute.
I think I put a little extra in mine. Is that okay?
Lucia, I always am heaping with my garlic. I love garlic, and it's so good for us, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. My grandfather used to eat it raw in the morning.
Oh my gosh. My
I didn't.
grandfather actually used to eat raw onions,
Ah.
and not red ones, like the white ones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
very similar. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I think it's for the health benefits, right? I think they were onto something. They knew.
Right.
You've probably been to Italy, right, Brooke? I'm sure have you been to Italy?
Just once.
Okay. If you go to the south, where my parents are from, Calabria, it's such a beautiful region. There's an onion called Tropea onion. And if you go again, please go to the south because it's so beautiful. And Tropea is this jewel of a town that overlooks the Gulf. It's just this jewel of a town. And they're Tropea onions, which they look like red onions, but they're a little bit more oblong.
Okay.
Sweet, not sugary sweet, but they don't have that kind of acridness that onions normally have, and they're just so special.
Oh, I love alliums in general. So whether it's onions or scallions or garlic or leeks, I love them.
And I've learned also through the PCRM that they also help in fighting cancer risk and recurrence risk, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're not only anti-cancer, they're antioxidant, they're anti-inflammatory. They're so health promoting. You want to put them in every dish that you make.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of chefs, they start out every meal almost sauteing onions and garlic, and then you go from there.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to start.
Another thing that Sorry, you're telling us the next steps, but I also noticed is that this recipe is oil-free.
Correct. So at PCRM, we don't prefer to use oil. We typically use either water or veggie broth.
Mhm.
If you need a little moisture in your pan. So a lot of times I'll put my ingredients in, then I'll just take it and run a little bit of water into my pan, set it on the stove, and it's ready to go.
Okay.
And not only is it so good for our blood vessels, our heart health, but it keeps your kitchen so clean to not have a lot of oil or fat in your kitchen. Yeah.
As an Italian, a child of Italians, I always joke that espresso and olive oil are in my blood, but I do cook mainly oil-free because I find that it's not necessary to have it. Occasionally, if I want it, I usually drizzle it on top of my food, right, for the benefits, but for the omega-3s. But I tend, not just as habit, not to use it.
And that's a much better way than cooking with it. When people cook with olive oil, a lot of times they really don't realize how much they're using. They might be using 4 tablespoons of olive oil to saute something, and it's pure fat. And unfortunately, fat is 9 calories per gram, as opposed to carbs and fats are 4 calories per gram. So if somebody's trying to maintain a healthy weight, it can really cause a challenge for them.
Right, exactly. I found that. I was snacking on olives for a while because they're another food that's a staple of my table upbringing. And it wasn't until I had cancer that I was like in recovery, and I was like, no, I need to be in the best shape of my life going forward. So I was counting calories and looking at fat and seeing what my food contained. And I'm already a Whole Foods plant-based vegan. And I looked at the olives and I was so upset to find out that a serving size is like 3 because the fat content is so. I was eating like, I am not lying. I was eating like those huge, 2-pint jars.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, they are delicious. Yeah, I will say there are some definite benefits, though, for eating the whole olive because you're getting the fiber, you're getting all of the phytonutrients that are in the olive, as opposed to taking 20 to 40 olives and pressing the oil out. And that's how you get a tablespoon of olive oil. And then you're just throwing out all of that fiber and all of those nutrients that are bound up in the fiber and the flesh of the actual food.
Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
good.
So if you do like olives and you want to have some olives, I just recommend slicing them nice and thin and, mixing them into your pasta dish or on your salad. And that way you still get that delicious, taste and flavor and mouthfeel of an olive, but you can spread it out.
Okay, but not a pound like I was eating. I don't buy potato chips, and at night when I'm like trying to relax, you want like a little snack sometimes, and I was like, all right, they're olives.
Right. Oh gosh. Okay, so after about 5 minutes, Lucia, are you seeing that your mixture is pretty soft and moist?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're looking the same here.
Okay.
Here's mine. So this is just going to go in the food processor with our lentils.
Okay, great.
So we can just add that in.
I made the loaf prior, and my kitchen is smelling like autumn with all the herbs. I can't wait to share all the herbs that are in here.
It is such a nice smell.
Yeah, it really is.
And very distinctive. You feel like, oh, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the holidays, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so once we've got those items in our food processor, we are ready to add the walnuts. Now, so a 1/4 cup of walnuts that you chop up, we'll want to sprinkle those into our food processor. Now, walnuts, I love walnuts.
Me too.
They are the nut that has the best profile for brain health. Now, all the nuts are great. They have a lot of omega-3s and other good properties. But the walnut, I just think it's so funny that it looks a little bit like the brain, and it's so good for brain health.
I love
So,
that people can make that association, right, when they're going to pick out, going grocery shopping. I just pulled up because my dad is a chef, so he always buys me things in bulk. So he buys me this enormous, I think it's 5 pounds bag. And I just put it up in the carousel so people can add it. It's like $17 for like a 5-pound bag, which is
and it'll
wonderful.
last. I mean, it'll last a long time. I
Yeah.
mean, a quarter cup of walnuts goes a long way.
Yeah. And you're
And
not.
well, I was just going to say, the only thing you need to be careful of with nuts and seeds and oils, if you're somebody who does keep olive oil in the house, is that these things can oxidize. Anything that has a high fat content can oxidize, and we don't want to consume things once they've oxidized. So oxidation, rust is really the best example of oxidation. And I like to say we don't want to put rust in our body.
Oh, that's great.
So in order to keep our food from oxidizing, I keep my nuts and seeds in the freezer.
Okay. Yeah.
Some people keep theirs in the fridge. I think just wherever you have some space.
Okay. All right.
But it's good to keep those things cool and dark so that they don't oxidize.
Okay.
If you ever and same thing with your oil, you can just keep it in a dark, cool cabinet. But if you ever notice the oil or the nuts or the seeds, if the flavor is off, I feel like you can smell it usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at that point, it has turned, it has oxidized, and you should really, let it go.
Discard them. Yeah. Okay. Especially if buying a large bag like the one I do, right? Because it lasts so long, it's even more important to keep it in a cool, dry place.
Yeah, and if you've got a nice big bag like that and you put it in the freezer, I mean, it'll last for years.
Oh, great. That's good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
That's another thing I had to curb. I think I'd have to start buying potato chips. The thing, I love nuts, and they're also, as a vegan, they're such a great source of protein and nutrients, and not only as a vegan, for anybody. So I want everybody to stop consuming animals. So there's such a great, I call them meat. I have no problem. I never say substitute. Walnuts are very meaty. They're a great meat. Well, they call it walnut meat. So
yeah. So actually on my website, one of my favorite recipes is a lentil walnut taco meat.
Ooh,
and literally all you do is put lentils and walnuts in the food processor with cumin and chili powder and oregano and some garlic. And it's so delicious.
Oh, that's so great. And I like doing things like that. And do you use lettuce leaves as the taco sometimes?
So lettuce leaves, a lot of times I just sprinkle it over the top of a big salad, like a taco salad.
Delicious.
But I serve it to guests all the time who aren't vegan, and they love it.
See, they know that they can go vegan then.
Yeah, it's a crowd pleaser for sure. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we want to add to our food processor, we'll just go down the list here. And the next thing we'll put in is the quarter cup of tomato paste.
Okay.
And that adds so much flavor. I love the tomato paste flavor in this recipe. And I don't know if on the carousel, if you've got those in the glass jars or the aluminum cans.
Yeah, I bought the aluminum can, and I think that's what I have here. I also like the tubes. How do you prefer to purchase them?
Yeah, I usually get the glass jars just because I can put it in the freezer if I'm not going to use it again real soon. So if you've got it in the can, usually I'll just scoop that out and put it in a little glass container and put it in the freezer if I've got leftover that I haven't used up.
I actually have one here. It's also a good price, but it's a tube, and it's not the brand that I'm using today. It's another brand, but I selected it because it actually publicizes as vegan. It's labeled vegan. So I thought for our purposes today, it would be great for people to know that there are dedicated brands that are, they're dedicated. They go out of their way to make sure that vegans know that it's
Oh, that's nice.
so.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we're going to add to the mix are flax seeds.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So back to our conversation about nuts and seeds.
Mhm.
So your flax seeds, you also want to keep in the fridge or the freezer, dark, cool place, so that they don't oxidize.
Okay, we'll have to do this. I keep them in a convenient place because I put them in my smoothie every morning. So I kind of keep them here because this is where my Vitamix is. So, okay, I'm going to have to keep them. I am going to have to keep them cooler.
But if you are someone who goes through them quickly enough and, they don't oxidize, then your system may be totally fine for you.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like how fast are you moving through your products.
Okay, all right.
And I think, Lucia, you and I have talked about this offline before, but with the flax seeds, it is great to buy the whole flax seeds and grind them.
Okay, that's what I have here because that's what I was buying the ground, and I think I have them in the carousel as well here for people to be able to purchase them. I was buying ground, and then I was told that it's better to buy them whole and grind them as needed, right? Because you can tell us why, because you're the expert.
Yes. So if you have something in its whole form, and then you process it, which this is minimally processing, is grinding our seeds. We sort of release the nutrients right then and there that we want to make available to our cells.
Okay.
Now, if somebody is like, you know what, I really don't want to do that, it's so much better to have ground flaxseed than not have flaxseed at all.
Right.
So I like to think of everything on a continuum of good, better, best. Best would be to buy the flaxseed and grind them. But it's sure as heck so much better than so many alternatives to have flaxseed than to not have it. Yeah.
Can you tell you a little bit about what the benefits of flax seeds are?
Yeah, so flax seeds are an amazing source of omega-3 fatty acids. And the omega-3 fatty acids are important for our cells for many reasons, but they're anti-inflammatory, they're antioxidant, they fight, they're cancer preventers. They're extremely health promoting. So enjoy them. And if you're somebody who likes smoothies, Lucia and I both love smoothies. You can add them to your smoothies. You can add them to, so in this recipe, they are serving actually as a binder. So they're an egg replacer.
Oh, right. We use flax egg. Vegans use flax egg.
Yeah. So if you were to take a tablespoon of brown flaxseed and 2 to 3 tablespoons of water and put it in a little dish and mix it up and let it sit for 5 minutes, it will start to get gooey, like an egg. And so if you're baking, that's typically how you make your eggs when you're baking. In this recipe, we're going to have plenty of moisture, so we don't need to prep it with the water. We can just put the flaxseed right in. But in general, flax is my favorite replacement for eggs.
Okay, mine too. I know we have a lot of, we actually have vegan eggs nowadays, but I still, because I have these on hand, I don't have to specifically go and buy vegan egg, and also because of the health benefits as well, right?
And Lucia, I have to tell you, the difference in price between flaxseed and vegan egg products is like night and day. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you don't mind, I'm going to grind mine now before we continue with the recipe. So I have this great, this is what I was mentioning earlier. If people are just tuning in when I was sequestered in the hotel, this is so cute because it goes right in the suitcase. I mean, for me, I'm such an old school vegan. I'm like, I put this in my backpack. if I'm traveling that way. But it's easy. It comes with all of these, two of these cups and the larger cup. It even comes with the sippy, if you want to make your smoothie with your flax and you're, traveling. It comes with all of the, it comes with it. It's such a great, I just pulled it up. I think also right now, it's 10% off. It's another great buy. Like, if people are purchasing for the holidays, it's such a great gift or for yourselves. So and also so easy to use. You just kind of fit it in here, and it has a little nodule, and you just put it in and pulse it.
Lucia, I'm pretty sure that's the same one I have. Is that a TriBest?
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
this company so much.
It is amazing. I love that thing.
Yeah, I love it because I also have, if you can see here, I have their juicer, which is amazing. Really just top quality. And this is like today, I always have to say, as of the time of this live stream, it's 10% off, which an already very good price. So so if people need something that's not even as involved as the Vitamix, which I love, they can buy one of these. And it's also versatile, like you see, and it even has two blades. It has these flatter blades, which are good for herbs and seeds, and it has the more, I don't know what they're called. They're more like, upward pointing, which I use to make hummus. You can make hummus, and like even with the lentils, the leftover lentils, right?
Right. Yeah.
So hummus in just 5 minutes. So I love this thing very much.
Oh, and I think we should mention for people that the reason that we need to grind up the flaxseed is that our body actually can't break it down.
Okay.
So we do need to grind it up, as opposed to chia seeds. Chia seeds you can just eat. You don't have to grind the chia seeds up. But with flaxseed, you've got to grind it up. Otherwise, it'll just pass through you, and the nutrients won't be able to be absorbed.
Okay, that's important to know. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just add those in.
All right, and then the next thing, we're going to add some moisture.
Okay.
So we're going to go with our soy sauce or tamari or coconut aminos, whatever you prefer or need to have based on, whether you're have an issue with gluten or soy. That's when people go for the coconut aminos. But I'm using.
Lucia, what do you use? Look.
Oh, Lucia, we're just matching. Look at us.
And this is also gluten-free, which I love.
Yes, I love this tamari.
Cheers, Brooke. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. All right, so we want 2 tablespoons of that.
Also pull this up for people so that they can purchase it, because I love the fact that they can just fill their shopping cart right now with these essentials for this recipe, and then to have in their pan. The wonderful thing as I was like preparing for today, everything that you listed is in my pantry, is in my normal everyday pantry. So if people are buying these ingredients today to make this recipe, they will have a nice basic vegan. If people are starting to go vegan, this will be kind of a starter pack pantry shop, so that they have these staples to use across various recipes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so our next one is the apple cider vinegar.
Another staple.
Another staple. Another health promoting ingredient. And speaking of staples, I do have, Lucia, I don't even know if I've told you, but I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I created an app that's available on the App Store and Google Play. It's called Quick Cooks with an exclamation point. And I created it for people to be able to make food super fast with very available ingredients, things that we would keep in our house, keep in our pantry, and then just use one appliance, whether it's the stovetop, the microwave, the Instant Pot, the Vitamix or blender, whatever it is, just one ingredient with some one appliance with our ingredients, so that you can make something super fast and not pick up the phone and order a pizza or do an Uber Eats to get something that's less health promoting and less compassionate, honestly.
I love this. I always, often, but also I was raised, encouraged and to make my own food. So, sometimes I think, okay, I'm going to order in, and I'm like, no, by the time you select what you want to eat, wait for the delivery. I live in an apartment building. So will they come up the steps, or will I have to put my shoes on and go downstairs?
Right.
The right order, and then will it be healthy for me? Even if it's delicious, will I then regret having eaten this? It's always vegan, but, so I'm like, no, that's like an hour and a half time. You can go and you can even, sometimes I just eat a carrot peeled, and I, whatever, I make hummus in the Tri-Best, and
Right.
15 minutes max compared to an hour and a half. And I love this idea. Okay, great. I'm going to download your app and share it, on my socials, so people have access to it.
Okay, yeah, and it's free. I just want people to have as much access as they can to, resources to help them live this lifestyle.
And I know we listed, at least on Instagram, we listed your two handles there. Will you please repeat with people where they can follow you on Instagram?
Sure. Yeah. So Plants Over Animals, and it's ANMLS. I think when I got that handle years ago, there was a limit to the number of characters, which there isn't anymore, which is interesting to me. And then when I created the book, I started a new account that's called Educated Eating, educated_eating. The educated_eating Instagram is for the physiology, the nutrition piece of it. And then Plants Over Animals is my original website that has us think about eating plants in order to improve our health, be compassionate toward animals, and help the environment.
Amazing.
So that one has a broader spectrum of content.
Great.
Yeah.
And then, of course, please follow on Lucia Vegan Lifestyle without the apostrophe S, Lucia Vegan Lifestyle, Lucia, to find out what's, when we're going live next. I will be going live for Black Friday. So if you're not, if some of the things that are on discount now in the carousel or on the Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle storefront, I will be curating so that vegans can shop easily here on Amazon across categories for vegan living.
Excellent. Okay, so we're just going to add one more thing, and then we're going to pulse this mixture. So we just want to add a little bit of mustard. I'm a huge fan of mustard. I just love the flavor. Here, I've actually just got a spicy brown mustard. I call for Dijon on the recipe, but you can use them interchangeably in this recipe. I think either is delicious.
Let me pull one up. I found one that is vegan. I mean, everything here is vegan, but also do the extra research because sometimes we take for granted that something is vegan because we think, well, what could be in it? So specifically bought. This is the one that I bought for this recipe, and it's in here somewhere. You know what? There's the Whole Foods one, which is also vegan. It's listed vegan on there, which I have in my fridge. But then I thought I ran out, so I bought this. So that's in the carousel. I just pulled it up, and now I'll pull up this one, which is a bit more expensive than the Whole Foods one. And I think the Whole Foods one is organic. I don't think this is organic. It's an old French company. But yeah, the Whole Foods one is much less expensive, much more affordable, and that's in the carousel now. But they're both in there if people, so people can have their preference. Okay. Great.
And so, Lucia, whenever you're ready, we will pulse.
Okay.
I will tell the viewers, though, we want to make sure we're not turning this into a puree.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We want to have some texture. So depending on your machine, don't just, lock it and hit high. Yeah, you want to lock your top on and then, pulse it and evaluate. Like, you can always pulse it more, but if you pulse too much, you can't unpulse it. We can't go back in time. So we got to be patient and careful.
All right, I'm gonna watch you as my cue. Just gonna mimic you.
Okay, so I'm gonna do some pulsing.
Okay.
So I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, great.
Okay, I feel like my lentils, I would like to do them just another time, I think. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay, nice.
Okay, now this is going to be a little bit more liquidy than our final product because we still need to add our quinoa.
Okay.
So depending on your situation, you could either add your quinoa directly into your bowl from your food processor, or you could transfer it into a mixing bowl.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna transfer mine into the mixing bowl because I'm gonna show you what we can do with it. So if you were to use the container from your food processor, you would have your whole mixture together and then you could dump it right into a loaf pan.
Oh, perfect.
But if you want to do something different, which the picture on the recipe, I made it into a heart shaped.
I saw that. Yeah, that's so sweet. It's so lovely.
Yeah. Yeah. So whatever you do, add quinoa either to a mixing bowl or the bowl from the food processor.
Okay.
And then we will move on to preparing it for baking.
Okay, I have quinoa here so people can add that to their carousel. So we'll be ready. Walnuts. Here we go.
And nowadays, so is the quinoa on the carousel? It's uncooked, probably dry?
Cooked, yeah, dry. And I use the mixture of red and white because I think it's so pretty.
I used to tricolor myself. So with the quinoa, I used to always cook it on the stove, and if you've got a glass top for the lid on your pot, it's not too much trouble.
Okay.
If you can't see in the pot, though, sometimes you can go too long and not know, and the quinoa can start sticking to the bottom. So I found a recipe where you can do the quinoa in the Instant Pot, and it's literally 1 cup of quinoa, 1.5 cups of water, 1 minute in the Instant Pot.
Oh, amazing. Okay. Oh, amazing.
It's amazing.
I need to invest in those in Instant Pot.
Yeah. So, and then also you can buy quinoa already cooked at some grocery stores in the freezer section.
Okay.
Yeah.
It helps. That's very convenient if people don't know this. I always find it so easy. I always make like about 4 servings and then I have them ready in the fridge for the week.
Yeah.
So, because it doesn't, all you have to really do is boil water. But mine, my range is really hot. So I always leave my lid. I have the stainless steel lid, so I always leave it a little bit ajar.
Okay.
So boil over, and I time it. I always time it a couple of minutes, earlier than indicated. That way I can keep an eye on it.
Yes.
If it needs. But also, Brooke, can't you also leave it not fully cooked if you're not going to eat it immediately, and then just let it absorb the water?
It certainly seems like that would work.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this looks so lovely. I already have my loaf here. I'm excited as if it's the first time.
Okay, so the piece de resistance is going to be the spices.
Oh, yes.
The herbs, I should say. Okay. And the herbs, not only do they smell delicious, look beautiful, but they, again, are nutrient powerhouses. They are packed with antioxidant, anti-inflammatory compounds that really are beneficial for our health. Amazing. So if people want to use dried, I do that all the time. I don't often go out and find the fresh herbs, but being, a few days before Thanksgiving, I found this wonderful pack that had sage, thyme, and rosemary in one pack. And I was like, well, I have to get that. That's great.
After we're done, I'll look for it and see. I'll see because after we're done with this loaf, if viewers want to stay on after we greet you, Brooke, I'm going to make a gravy to put on top of this. So when we do that, then I'll try to find the fresh herbs and add them to the carousel for people if they want that option.
Excellent. Okay, but if you want dried, so I've got 2 teaspoons of oregano, 2 teaspoons of thyme, 2 teaspoons of parsley, a half a teaspoon of sage, and then a half a teaspoon of pepper.
Okay.
So you can just add those in and mix them in to your loaf ingredients.
Okay. I want to show you this this pepper that I have, Brooke, because you might be interested in it. It's lovely. It was sent to me by the brand, and it comes in a set with the salt. It has 21 plant-based vitamins and minerals. It's a very potent pepper, and you can see all the ingredients on the back, but I've been loving this so much. I finished the salt, but I've been loving this so much as a replacement for just plain black pepper. So
yeah, and the interesting thing about pepper is that it increases the body's ability to absorb other nutrients.
like the turmeric, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because
that's super beneficial.
I was using turmeric prior to contracting cancer, prior to having cancer, and then I got kind of scared because the medication I had been on was apparently turmeric was a contraindication, or it kind of lessened the effect of it.
Okay.
But then I spoke with Dr. Funk, who was on the show, and he explained to me that no, turmeric is actually great still to use, but just not to take the supplements, because that would be way too much. But if I'm putting it in my cooking, then it was great to help, right, as an antioxidant.
Yeah. So Dr. Funk loves to put turmeric in her daily smoothie.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So just like a half a teaspoon, or might be a quarter even. It's either a quarter or a half.
In the on TV.
Yeah, in the daily smoothie, and that way every day you're getting that anti-cancer compound.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I did chop up the fresh herbs just so you could see, what they would look like as we put them in. But I've got parsley and sage and thyme in this mixture. And so if you want to go the extra mile, if you're having guests over or special occasion and want to see the beautiful color of it, it really does, sort of kick it up a notch. Not that it even needs it, but
yeah,
for the holidays, I thought it would be fun.
My parents grow their own. I have in my freezer, I have whole basil leaves because my parents grow their own herb. They grow their own veggies in their garden. Also grow herbs, parsley, basil, and oregano. But you saw my grandfather's garden with the little twine ribbon.
That's great.
But I have like 4 bottles of purchased oregano in here because it's such a staple, right, to cooking in general, to Italian cooking. So I have like a lifetime supply of oregano here.
Oh, great. It's so good.
Yeah.
Really fresh herbs are great. Okay, so I've got a baking dish here that I'm going to use because I'm going to shape my loaf just to show you how to make the heart if you want to do that. Yeah. Lucia's got hers in a loaf pan. That would be the most traditional way to make it. Love it. So it's great to see that. But if you want to have a little fun, and if you've got, anybody that you want to make it, that if there's another shape you wanted to make, just know that it lends itself to being molded. So here I just put it in my hands and I start to form it into, sort of what looks like a football. And I'm going to lay that down in the pan.
Okay, I'm gonna put parchment paper. It probably doesn't stick on. I don't have a non-stick pan, or it's so well, quote unquote, well seasoned.
Parchment paper, you can never go wrong with parchment paper. So
Yeah.
when in doubt, parch it out.
You're leaving me with so many cute tips to remember the brain-shaped walnut and this brand,
Okay.
the name of it, If You Care, and they this is all recycled and compostable, so I like using their.
I think that's the one I have,
Is it?
Lucia.
I love
And
that
it's
we.
great. Yeah, I love how it's that neutral color. I feel
Mhm.
like when you put parchment paper down that's white, it's probably been bleached. I
Yes.
don't know, it just feels unnatural.
I love the feel of these natural, these more eco-friendly and health-friendly products that we kind of, I think, doing the research to help people live vegan, we learn so many things that we wouldn't even know, right, if we weren't doing this, even just being, I think my life is so health focused as well from a
Right.
age, being, vegetarian and vegan from a young age. And then my little farmer parents, my little farmer parents. It's I always tend to try to look for items like this. All right, so mine is yeah. Okay, so you shape it into a ball on here, or did you do it in your hand? Because I was
So
trying to.
I did two in my hands, and then I set them at angles to each other
Oh, okay.
so that they ended up, when I put them together, I had an angle this way and an angle this way.
Okay, all right. I'm just making one. Can we make one large one, or should it be two? Is it better to make two?
Um, Either way, depends on the size of your pan. My pan lends itself better to two small ones.
Okay, I have a nice big. I think it's 9 by. I don't know. I can't even measure. With
Oh, like a 9 by 13?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you can get a big one, that would be even better.
Okay, good. So I'll do this. I'll show it to you for approval. Looks pretty. Let me see. Let me wash my hands. Let's see. Do you approve?
Oh, yeah, that looks great.
Okay, good. Oh, I
Yeah, I
didn't
love it.
preheat.
I love it.
Preheat the oven to 350, right? Which we were supposed to do at the beginning. Okay, I'm glad you
Right.
approved, Dave. Thank you.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then so I would set the timer for 30 minutes, knowing that it's probably going to go longer,
Okay.
but everybody's oven's a little bit different, and you don't want it to dry out, but you do want the edges to get brown.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of a golden brown color on the edges.
Oh,
And I have a couple that I was going to show you guys.
yeah.
This is one that I made yesterday. Can you see
Oh,
how the color has gotten darker?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a
Love
little bit, crisp on the edges.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and
beautiful.
and then once you put that on a plate, you cut somebody a piece, put it on a plate with some stuffing,
Oh, nice.
um, and then I wanted to show you another thing you can do is that you can put the loaf inside of a pepper if you wanted to.
Amazing.
So, and then that looks kind of cute. You can serve it like with the lid partly off,
Gorgeous. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
if you really, want to do, put the loaf in something.
That is beautiful.
Here I've got it
Yeah.
in an acorn squash.
Oh, yeah.
So, and with these squashes, it's such a good time of year for squashes. And really, the squashes are probably one of the most traditional Thanksgiving items because they weren't even harvesting potatoes at the original Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
They used a lot of squashes, and squashes can last for months after you pick them. So it's just you load up your like basement cellar with these squashes. My neighbor grows a lot of squashes, and throughout the winter she'll say, "Hey, do you need any spaghetti squash? Do you need and so I can just imagine that's what they were doing back at the original Thanksgiving, is using up all of these parts of their harvest.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'd show you, you can fill a spaghetti squash.
Oh, beautiful. That is so, and then, oh my God, that's so much fun to eat as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because now you've got the lentil loaf and you're mixing it in with noodles, essentially,
Yeah. Oh,
you
I love
know,
this. I
that are
love.
squashes.
Yeah.
Um, and then this one, I had so much fun doing this one. So this is a little pumpkin.
Oh, sweet.
So you've got the lid.
Oh,
And
I love
so,
it. Oh, that is
depending on,
sweet.
and I thought, you know what, I'm going to serve these tonight to the family. Everybody gets a different
Oh,
squash that's filled with with the lentils,
music. Oh,
and
it's
just
gorgeous.
yeah, just some different ideas, just so that it's not just one recipe. You can do so much with it,
That's so
and
good for the holiday table as well to do exactly what you've done. Either the one loaf or both, make two of them and then have these beautiful colors of the rainbow around the table like that.
yeah, and then I think when you show your gravy recipe,
Mhm.
you can drizzle gravy, you know, in these squashes,
Mhm.
or just over the loaf when it's cut as is.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, just there's so many options to, make people excited about these plant-based alternatives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was also thinking, can you make burgers from these as well?
You could. I actually have a recipe on my website, Plants Over Animals. It's my favorite burger recipe ever. And I use kidney beans with the quinoa. There's
Um,
something about the kidney beans that have, you know, just that texture, that meaty texture,
mhm.
and it holds the burger together perfectly so that it's sitting on a bun. It doesn't. I feel like with a lentil loaf, lentils are just, they're more delicate.
Yeah, yeah,
That's just how they are.
yeah.
And we love them for it, right? But they don't necessarily stay on a burger bun the way that I
Yeah.
would want them to. Yeah. So I would switch to the kidney bean
Okay.
quinoa recipe for that.
He's like, oh, amazing. That
Yeah.
sounds so great. Okay. All right, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I want to pull this book up. Do you want to say anything? Thank you so much for spending the time with us. And I think we have a couple of questions? Oh, okay. Thank you both for making vegan cooking so easy. And Gabby Grandma says, so inspiring. So many
Excellent.
comments. And then if you're on other platforms, right now I can only see the comment if you're on Amazon. So do come. We're going to speak to Brooke for another minute or so, and then I'm going to show you how to make the gravy to top this with, or your stuffing, or whatever you want. But do come to Amazon Live, amazon.com/live/Lucia Vegan Lifestyle, so that you can get in any last questions or comments to Brooke, to thanking her for being our guest. And you can also follow here so that you know when we go live again. Now, if you're just tuning in, or if you came in later, Brooke's book, Chew on This, is a lovely book to stop obsessing about food and diet. And Brooke, tell a little bit again about either the same thing or something different for people who are just tuning into, who tuned in a little bit later.
Well, I think it's important to know that the book is very easy to read. And if you look at the reviews on Amazon, it's really fun to hear what readers are saying about how easy it is to digest the information. And I'll give you one example. This meal that we just made today is filled with fiber, and
Mhm.
plants in general are filled with fiber. Animals have a skeleton, that's how they stand up. Plants have fiber, that's how they stand up. But that fiber, when we eat that fiber, it's good for us for many, many reasons. But one of the primary reasons why I love fiber is in chapter 3 of the book, titled Bacteria. I talk about these organisms that live in our intestines that promote our health by making anti-inflammatory compounds and other things that are extremely health promoting.
Mhm.
So I give the bacteria names, Itsy and Bitsy, and they're having a conversation, And Heidi, the host of these bacteria, is at the store, at the pharmacy, and she's asking the clerk where the probiotics are. And Itsy and Bitsy are down there in her belly shouting with a megaphone, "We're down here. Like, you don't have to take, pills to have probiotics. We have probiotics in us that live with us." And it's important to know that they're there. It's important for us to know that they need fuel, and their fuel is fiber. And less than 5% of the American public get the recommended amount of fiber every day. And
Wow.
so their gut bacteria are starving. And when those gut bacteria can't live, then other gut bacteria start to thrive. And these are gut bacteria that are not health promoting. They cause disease. So, so that's one little example of something in the book that I try to make fun and bring to light as a way to educate, but also just make it really accessible to people.
Great. Thanks. And that helps because we're all so busy, right? Even if you have a slow life, we're all busy with our own things. So to have this easily accessible it helps people so much, instead of feeling like you have to study everything and know everything and have a whole other career in health and nutrition. It's great to have you provide this for us and show us how to do it easily. Thanks again so much. Have a lovely holiday.
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you so much.
I look forward to hopefully having you on again.
I would love that. Thank you so much. Have a great holiday.
You too, Brooke. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks again to Brooke. If you haven't added her book to your cart today, it's a great holiday, right? We did this today because people are wanting to stay healthy during the holidays or start the new year healthy. So I wanted to have Brooke on to show us her wonderful book. It's in the cart right now, and you can buy it for yourself. It makes a great stocking stuffer, a great gift. So buy a few of them so that you can hand them out to people. And now we have this lovely loaf. Let me put my second loaf in the oven now that it's heated. And set my timer. Okay. And here's the loaf that I made prior, and the one that's on the sheet pan is baking now, but I baked this in the loaf pan so that we could show you the different ways. And of course, the ways that Brooke made are just so beautiful and festive and adding flavors. Now I'm going to make a very easy, Chef Maria is the chef, Lucia's Vegan Lifestyles executive chef. So she came up with a very, very easy gravy that you can use to put on top of this loaf. Or I'm going to slice this later on. I'm going to remove it from the pan and slice it. And I'm going to pour some of this gravy on it. Very, very easy. So let's get to it. All you need, and the ingredients are also here. So the lentil loaf, the lovely lentil, in case you missed that, is oil-free. I'm going to use a little bit of oil in this recipe. And this is, I have it in the carousel, so I'll pull it up for you. And this is Sicilian extra virgin. Oh, we love Chef Maria. Thank you. Yes, she's so special. I think she's tuned in right now, but Maria, if you're here, Chef Maria, we love you. And thank you so much for helping people eat vegan. So this is a Sicilian extra virgin olive oil, and it's 100% product of Italy, non-GMO. So we're going to use a little bit of this for it. But I think you can probably make it oil-free if you want to. We're going to see. So let's see how to do this. Pull that up in the carousel so you can add it to your cart. I have everything ready here, so we just need a quarter cup of mushrooms, chopped. And I'll put my lovely loaf here. Put it here. Let me see it. A quarter cup of, a quarter cup of mushroom. I chopped those up. An eighth of a small onion. This is a little bit more, so I'm not going to use all of that. An eighth cup of the extra virgin olive oil. An eighth cup of all-purpose flour. I love this brand, so I'm going to pull this up for you. This is baking flour, so I hope it will work. This is gluten-free, so I live a gluten-free diet because I don't really react very well to gluten. And oopsie. So let me pull this up for you. It's a pretty big bag. So if you're baking, this is 1-to-1 as well. So it's just an even amount. You don't have to worry about converting it or whatever you're baking that would be with a gluten flour. You can use this same amount. So this is a 4-pound bag. And, if you're baking for the holidays, it's great. And right now, as of the time of this live stream, it's 9% off, which is great. So it's a good buy. You can add that to your cart for your holiday cooking and baking needs. Now, so we have the flour, and what else we need? Teaspoon. Oh, I think she said teaspoon, and I have a tablespoon here, so I'm not going to be using that all. But it's the same gluten-free tamari, low sodium, which I have in the carousel for you. I'll pull that up because this is a brand that I really love. I use this as dipping for my vegetable sushi or maki. So, and I use this in all of my, whenever something calls for soy sauce, I use this because it's a great brand, and it's organic. It's organic and gluten-free, non-GMO. Great. And low sodium. So we'll use that. We need black pepper, which I have. We mentioned this. I really love this brand. They sent it to me, and I think about a year ago, maybe. And the salt is already gone. It's very potent, so you don't need as much as you would use of, just plain black pepper. It comes in a set as well. So again, it's great to have on your holiday table, to have with your, to use in your cooking, to have on your holiday table. It makes a great gift if you know someone who loves cooking. It's a wonderful gift because it comes as a set. And I think, I also have here, if you want to carry it with you, there's also a kind of, let me see it here. It's like on the go, pink salt with ashwagandha and the pepper as well. So it's great. That's a cute stocking stuffer gift as well. So let me pull this up for you. And then the recipe calls for vegetable broth or stock. And I look at this big, it's like the size of my head. I use it so much because soup, we mentioned smoothies with Brooke, and using the flax in your smoothies in the morning. I love smoothies. So I'm like a 3 S's person. My meals usually are smoothie, salad, and soup. So I use a lot of this for soup, and I have it here. Also, this is also reduced sodium. It's certified vegan, which always makes us feel safe, right, and secure. So that's in the carousel for you. We'll need 1 to 2 cups of it, depending on how much you make. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the same pot as we used for the loaf when we sauteed the mushrooms and onions for the loaf. We'll use the same pan. So I guess we'll saute those in the oil. Put a little drop of oil. But I think we can let's try it. We can even try without the oil. Let's do that. So saute the onion. I'm actually going to put all the onion because I like it. And, it's going to kind of blend in the recipe. So it's fine to put extra. You can add some garlic to this if you want. I didn't put any because Chef Maria didn't indicate that we need any. And the mushrooms have water in them, so you don't really need oil in this. So let's do it oil free. If you want to saute your your onion and garlic, your onion and mushroom in the oil, in the extra virgin olive oil, you can do so. Or we can also make it oil-free in keeping with Dr. Bossard's recipe. So we'll do that. We will do that. I always choose the healthier option. That's me by default, because I also know that, when I choose the healthier option, to me, because I'm so old school, whole foods, plant-based, to me, it actually tastes better. And then my body also feels better. Not only are there no regrets, but I'm setting myself up for optimal health. And then also, right, our taste buds are conditioned. So if we condition our taste buds and our bodies to love the foods from our earth, not that I don't, if you saw my Instagram stories, I went to an event on Friday and I had tacos and there were French fries, and yes, I ate all the French fries. But generally I go for the healthiest option. So we'll do that here. So we saute these, and if you're not following here, hit the follow button as soon as you can while our mushrooms and onions are cooking, and then you can be alerted when I go live. Like if you have the notifications on, you will get a little pop-up on your cell phone knowing that Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle is going live, so you won't miss anything, because we don't only do cooking here on Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle, we are doing everything across categories to help you live your best vegan life. So I will be going live on Friday for Black Friday. All right, so now we put the flour in. Let me pull up the flour again in case you haven't added that to your cart, your shopping cart, and you want to purchase this. And I love this. The reason why I added these all here is because you can order them now, and that way you'll have them tomorrow, or you'll have them in time for your holiday cooking. So, okay, we're going to put this in a little, she says, stir it until it's incorporated. Oh, this is probably where I needed the oil. Chef Maria is camera shy, so we do not, sometimes she's here available to answer questions on the fly, but I think she's cooking today for clients, so we do not have her expertise. So you're stepping in. Okay, so that's incorporated. And now let me show you, it's just kind of coated my onion and mushroom. And I believe that's why we needed the oil. But now I'm gonna add the broth. So I have it already made. I just boiled 2 cups of water and then stirred in 2 teaspoons of the bouillon, which I'll show you. Let me show you how it comes. It's really nice, dissolvable. Of course, I can never get it open. I just opened it. Oh my gosh. All right, so that's how it comes. So it dissolves very easy. And sometimes I'll make it just to sip with some miso in it. Miso, Dr. Bossard was talking about gut health, and miso and fermented foods are very good for your gut. So I eat a lot of fermented foods like raw sauerkraut and stuff. All right, so we're going to pour this in here. What I wanted to do, stir it until the gravy thickens. What I wanted to do, you can either leave this like this. I'm going to keep stirring it. But what I want to do, I'll show you another option. If you like your gravy, kind of chunky, you can leave it like this. But what I'm going to do is something else. It's already thickening. So you see the flour, the gluten-free flour, it does work just as a regular glutinous flour. So love it. And I've used it for baking, so it's true to the label. All right, so I only really used about a cup of the broth, so you can just sip this later or use it for something else. So if you want it thick like this, you can leave it like that. But I'm going to show you something else. Let me put away. Let me take it off the heat. And oh, we didn't put soy, so it calls for the soy sauce now. Tamari, let me pull that up again for you in case you haven't added it to your cart. And while I'm finding it, please hit that follow button. Thank you. So I'm going to stir that right in. Okay. And if you're watching from another platform, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, please come to Amazon Live. I believe the link to this live show is in the description. But if you do not find it, come to amazon.com/live/Lucia Vegan Lifestyle and hit subscribe. And then you can comment in the comments section. Gabby, Grandma, thank you for following. I really appreciate it. That means so much. So you have this nice dark gravy. You see how nice and gravy-ish it is? See, ooh, look at that. Okay, so now that's nice and thick. I want to show you something else. So what I'm going to pull up, we spoke about the Vitamix earlier, right? We had the food processor that I pulled up. Let me pull that up for a second. And that again, as of the time of this live stream, it's 12% off. So it's a great purchase, great investment for the holidays, great purchase for yourself, great gift for someone who likes to cook or who wants to get more into cooking. It's I hope it's an affordable price for most people. You know, the price maybe of a couple of dinners, which then you can make, you know, this loaf, which will be a meal for a couple of people for a week. It can also be an entire meal for a family for the holidays. Very inexpensive. So as part of Lucia's vegan lifestyle, I do high-end luxury living, but I really love to make vegan living accessible to everyone and everywhere and anyone and everyone, because I've lived it all. I've lived every possible aspect of life, from red carpets to the bodega as a vegan, backpacking to staying in, you know, 5-star hotels. So I know every aspect of vegan living, and I want to make it accessible to everyone, no matter who you are. So this today is hopefully will help people have a lovely, delicious, and healthful feast for the holidays. Okay, so I'm going to remove this from the heat for a second because I want to show you my other favorite tool. We talked about the smoothies, and this is a bit more pricey. I've had mine since 2014, and it has held up. I've never had to have it repaired. It is a strong, commercial grade appliance. You'll see it in your favorite smoothie shops. So let me just, I made my smoothie earlier, so it's in my sink with tons of other bowls. Let me just do this, right? Just reverse it really quickly. Okay. So what I want to do is, I think I'm going to add a little bit of the broth to, this Vitamix that I have came with this container and the, how many ounces? I think this is 64 ounces. It came with a 32 ounce. It comes with the plunger and it comes with the lid, which I love because it has the opening. You can pour more ingredients in here as you're cooking if you need more liquids, or if you want to add more salt, or, you know, your flax seeds as your smoothie is going. So I really love this machine. I'm going to pour a little bit, just a little. Can you see this? Okay. I'm going to pour just a little bit of the broth in here. I guess maybe a half cup. And then again, if you like your gravy thick, look at that. It's amazing. Nice and thick and chunky, right? If you like it chunky like that, we can do that. But oops, someone's called it. But you can also do this. Oh, I might have made it too liquidy. We shall see. Okay. Now the Vitamix also, when you have your mushrooms, if you want to retain nutrients, right? Certain veggies, I'm not a nutritionist or a dietitian, but I do know that certain veggies are more healthful cooked, but some of them you want to retain the nutrients that they have when they're raw. So I make soups in here, and not cold. I make cold soups as well, but it heats up so much that you can have a nice warm soup without cooking something. So I've made raw mushroom soup in here, like cream of mushroom, putting a little bit of plant milk in it, some seasoning, some fresh herbs, and it is amazing. So I've made nut butters in here. You can see some of the older Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle Amazon lives, making peanut butter with just peanuts, nothing else, no preservatives, nothing. So you can make a lot of things in here. Oh, fruit roll up kind of things, fruit leathers. If you have kids or if you're a kid at heart or want a quick snack, you just puree a fruit, a mango or blueberries. And I have a dehydrator, which I've demoed on other episodes of the live stream. And you just puree your fruit, whatever you want, or veggie if you want to make a veggie fruit leather. Spread it on the sheet for the dehydrator. Stick it in your dehydrator, and in a few hours you have sheets of fruit roll-ups. I've made, I think maybe, I can't remember, it was a while ago. It was like two, I think, sheets with 1 pint of blueberries. Amazing, amazing portable snack. So I'm going to do this. It's going to be a little loud, so watch your ears. I'm going to put it first on low. I have it pulled up here if you want to purchase it. So it's very easy to use. So you see the variable setting or the high setting, and variable has from very low to a bit more powerful, but not as powerful as high. And then just an on-off button. Very, very, very easy to use. So sometimes if I don't want to shock you with the noise of it, I turn it on variable, I turn it on, and then I turn the volume up, and then I hit high. So watch your ears. We're going to turn this up. It's very low. Turning it up higher. Now, it might need a little bit of thickening, so I'll put more flour. Let's see, I might have put too much liquid in it, but yeah, it's too liquidy. But in that case, I would just put more flour. Let's have a taste of it. Oh, see, yeah, it's a little bit, oh, okay, it's still gravy-ish, but I think I would like mine a little bit thicker, so I'm going to put more flour, but let's taste it. Oh my God, Chef Maria, every single time. She's been cooking since she was a kid. Oh, that's delicious. All right, I'm gonna put more flour in it. Oh, wow. There goes my avalanche. I have these lovely mixing bowls. Let me put those on for you. Oh, Bridget, thank you so much for following it. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. If you're not following yet, please follow Gabby Grandma and Bridget and follow. That way you're notified when we go live. I'm going to pull up for you. If you saw, some of them I haven't even unwrapped yet, but I have this lovely stacking set of mixing bowls that the brand sent me. I've been using them throughout the recipe when we made the loaf with Dr. Broussard. So they're in the sink, but it's such a nice lightweight. Look at this. I just keep them on top of my fridge so they're available when I want to use them. And they're light stainless steel. And the brand sent me these actually, and I've been loving them. So you can add those to your car because these are wonderful for cooking, baking. They're so easy to clean. So it's a great set. Let me pour some more flour in here. And we'll thicken this up a little bit. I'm going to add some of the black pepper that I showed you. I'm going to pull that up in the carousel in case you're just tuning in or you didn't get a chance to add it to your cart because I really love it. I mean, who knew black pepper with all of these 21 plant-based nutrients in it. And it comes in the set with the salt. And I love the addition of, I love pepper, black pepper with mushrooms. I'm just going to do it liberally. And this has turmeric in it as well, which Dr. Bassard explained the benefits of that. So I'm going to put a little more of the flour. Did I pull that up for you? Let me pull that up. So here's the salt and pepper set to add to your cart now while I'm finding the flour again for you. And again, if you're just tuning in or watching the replay, I've added all of the ingredients and the tools, my cutting board, which you didn't see me demo, but I've had this for years and it's made of recycled materials. I really love it. I've had it literally for about, I think I've had it since about 2010, 2013, so a long time. And it's really, you see it's green and festive looking. It has different colors, I believe. Let me pull that up for you. I already had my veggies chopped and ready when we started. So you can add that to your cart and also hit the follow button if you haven't yet. So I just poured about another, not even a tablespoon of flour in here because I want to put it a little at a time. Let me pull up the flour again. I think it was a 4-pound bag. So great. And again, it's 9% off as of the time of this live stream. So great value for your holiday baking and cooking. All right, let's do this again as we did before. And then, if I want to put more in there. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh, see, you can see it's heated, heats up a bit. So really warms. I also make, you've seen me demo because I've done Sunday brunches on here, and you've seen me make my favorite morning cacao and espresso and plant milk with this heated, hot, warm. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's a nice, you can still make it thicker if you want. So let's see how my my loaf turned out. And my original loaf. Let me take it out of the pan now. And we will, let's see how it formed. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. I don't know if I should. I've never really lined something. Oh, okay. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to use 2 plates. Here we go. 1. Amazing. Put that in the sink. If anyone wants to come over, I will give you a meal in exchange for washing my dishes. I actually like washing the dishes. And speaking of cleanup, if you go to the Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle storefront, connected to this live stream, to the same account, you will see a section called housekeeping. So it has all vegan products from sponges to these amazing mine is so stained with espresso, these microfiber cloths that you can't see the top of my range. I have a glass range that it just wipes the grease right off. Great for, cleaning your bathtub, amazing. So I have a whole slew of dishwashing soaps from the bar. I just started using this bar. I should actually pull it up in the carousel. This bar soap to sponges and scrubbers made of apricot seeds. So go to the LVL storefront and peruse it and do all of your shopping from makeup to housekeeping to PMS to whatever category you can think of is in the Lucia's Vegan Lifestyle storefront. So enjoy going through that because I work very hard to find items for you. Either when I'm shopping, I add whatever I buy to those various lists, or sometimes I just go and find different things that I think people might be looking for and I add them to the cart. So do take advantage of this and make sure to follow here so that you know when I go live and you don't miss out. Okay, let me reverse this now. I'm going to play it gently because I don't want it to break, right? Okay. Oh, beautiful. Voila. We have a loaf. A little crumb came off. Look at that. Gorgeous. And then I have the oval one in the oven. You know what? I also want to bring up while I'm going to slice this and put some gravy on it so we can see the final dish. But in the meantime, I have the baking pan that I use. It's like eco-friendly bakeware, and it's as of the time of this live stream, it's 46% off. So that's a great buy, especially for now, this time of year, right? Not only gifts for people. I'm always better at buying gifts for myself. Not only gifts for people, but because we're cooking so much, or if you're just starting to get into cooking, so you can have that eco-friendly bakeware in keeping with our healthy, eco-friendly, cruelty-free, animal-friendly lifestyle. Let me get a smaller plate. I can't even reach. I'm going to get a small plate. Okay. You see? Oh, you can't see me doing this. Okay. Oh, nice. Oh, gorgeous. Look at the inside of this. Look at that. See? Pretty. All right. Now let's pour some gravy on it. I'm just going to do it with a spoon. Right. I still think I want it thicker. But this actually absorbs right into the loaf, which is nice if you want your loaf infused with gravy. Or you can keep it thick as I had it before we put it in the Vitamix. All righty, let me get a fork. Okay. Are we ready to taste this? Holiday loaf. Oh, gorgeous, lovely lentil loaf from Brooke Boussard, our guest, and Chef Maria's mushroom gravy. It is kind of thick. Look at that. Oh, ready? Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Please hit the follow button. Follow on Instagram, Lucia Vegan Lifestyle, Lucia Vegan Lifestyle, so you know what's coming up on my TV show, which is also on YouTube, and when I go live on Amazon. Thank you again so much for joining. And happy holidays.